Life flies by, whether you're young or not, whether you live in the city or in the country. It would be shame to let the wonder of it all slip through your fingers. And more of it, a lot more, is closer than you might think. Houston Wilderness is a 24-county region with more than 19,000 square miles of amazingly diverse habitat. Here you'll find a rare intersection of 10 unique ecoregions with hardwood bottomlands, prairie grasslands, upland forests, and coastal wetlands. Houston Wilderness is also a consortium of partnerships founded in 2002, a network of people and organizations who pool resources to help preserve and protect some of the most diverse, globally important wilderness in the world. We've published the Houston Atlas of Biodiversity, which tells the story of our area's critically important ecoregions. Our Wilderness Passport program encourages children and their parents to explore and discover these riches. Most importantly, we've made progress on the ground, where our partners are building a critical wilderness infrastructure. Collectively, we envision a major trail system that highlights the region's many parks, wildlife habitats, beaches, and waterways. One of those who've worked many years on conservation projects is native son Andrew Sansom.
In today's world, particularly given the economic condition that the nation is in, this kind of work cannot happen without partnerships. It's beyond the scope of any one nonprofit or government agency to address a conservation initiative on this scale. And so the cooperation of not only the Fish and Wildlife Service, the Texas Parks and Wildlife, but also nonprofits, including the Nature Conservancy, the Trust for Public Land, the Little Cradle of Texas Conservancy, which operates in the area. Texas State University is involved. It takes all of those components to cause real conservation to happen on the ground today.
Last year, we highlighted the work of our partners, including Harris and Montgomery counties, Legacy Land Trust, and the Woodlands, in unveiling the 33-mile Spring Creek Greenway north of Houston. It's an important segment of the Sam Houston Trail and Wilderness Preserve. Today, we're proud to spotlight partners who are bringing together another important segment of Houston's wilderness, the Brazos River Trail. The river, as the trail's name suggests, runs through it. Following the Brazos River across Fort Bend and Brazoria counties, the Brazos River Trail unfolds over one of the most incredible ecological systems in our region. The lower Brazos here winds through the dense, wet Columbia bottomlands, a lush world of towering trees, palmetto thickets, and flowering plants. Some of them are found nowhere else in the world. These natural riches support a multitude of animals and insect species and make this a critically important stopover habitat for migrating birds. The Brazos River Trail is rich with nature, rich with history, worth preserving. This segment of the Brazos River, which Spaniards called Los Brazos de Dios, the arms of God, is steeped in culture and history. It's the cradle of the Republic of Texas, where Stephen F. Austin arrived in 1821. It was in this area that Texas declared its independence from Mexico and established its first capital at Columbia in 1836.
This is where Anglo-Texas actually began. Stephen F. Austin's first boatload of colonists coming in from New Orleans, shipwrecked at the original mouth of the Brazos River at a place called Quintana.
In the 19th century, the Levi Jordan Plantation was one of the nation's largest producers of sugar and cotton. Much of the area's commerce passed through the bustling port of Bell's Landing, an early settlement that evolved into the towns of East and West Columbia. Oil began flowing through the history here too, at the Varner Hogg Plantation State Historic Site, which today is surrounded by suburban development. Ranching was big industry too. Hilmer Moore, the longtime mayor of Richmond, still works land that's been in his family since they came to Texas with Stephen F. Austin's colony, the Old 300.
When I first started riding a horse in 1926, there were no trailers, trucks. You got on a horse and you rode to wherever you're going to work cattle. That meant if it was any distance, you might leave the barn at 4 o'clock in the morning so that at daylight you'd be where you were going to work that day. And of course, all of that's gone.
And of course, you can't talk about Brazos River history without talking about the George Ranch. Mayor Moore knew Mamie and Albert George personally.
He was county commissioner at one time, and then really, I don't want to offend anybody, but actually Ms. George is the one that was philanthropic, and there's no limit to the number of people that she took care of. She never wanted any publicity. In fact, just religiously avoided publicity of any kind. But she was just a saint on earth. At Ms. George's death, the ranch went into a foundation, the George Foundation. Before that, Albert and Mamie George did many philanthropic things like build a hospital, things of that kind. The quality of life in Richmond, Roseburg, and Fort Bend County would not be as good as it is today were it not for the foundation.
Going farther back, millennia even, is the natural history of the Brazos River Trail.
It's hard to think of this area without thinking of the majestic oaks and pecans which dominate the forest. These are some of the most, the oldest and the most inspiring of the woodland species anywhere, in my mind, in the United States. The Grand Champion live oak is in this forest. Some of these trees can be as much